website to find when I came across a trivia of sorts, one that really kind of dissects you and your interests, and it brings a whole spin on things, because I think a lot of these trivia things that ask you about yourself result in some pretty boring results, or just don't really enthrall me. But this one I felt was perfect and so fitting for this channel's content and what it is oriented around, along with just making it a very interactive video. Just at 500 subscribers, you guys are showing some immeasurable support, and I want to interact with the people that help make this community grow. So what I would recommend is, you definitely don't have to look up this article, this quiz, this trivia. You can just watch this video, sit back, hear me ask these questions. It's totally fine. I will link the article in the description of this video. It's, are you more of a main character, a love interest, or a side character to your life? I think that's such a crazy thought to think about, because you can dissect and get really introspective and see really if you are fulfilling life and garnering the stuff that it has to offer to its fullest, or not so much. And I haven't taken this quiz. I've skimmed through a couple of the questions because I wasn't going to make a video through a trivia that I've never done, but the result that I'm going to get is going to be first for me, and hopefully first for you guys. So, like I said, maybe if you have a laptop or a computer that you can have on the side while you hear me go through these questions, that's great. If you don't, you could just pause the video. I will be slow so you can hear out every option, because I will only get my result based off of what I choose. But I would love, love, love to hear what you guys got as the end result. See where you fit within your own life. Make this as interactive as possible. But without further ado, relax, get a cup of coffee, tea, water, sit, lay, just good energy. And if you're not doing okay, that is totally fine. Hopefully this video brings you some happiness, some warmth, and some love, because this community is just built off of all those things. But without further ado, I'm going to start scrolling down to the first question. Again, the link to this article will be in the description if you have it pulled up. Let's go. If you haven't, pause the video, but I'm going to get started. So, the first question is, if you were to make a movie, where would it take place? Fantastic question. And it gives you 4 options: the city, the suburbs, an island vacation, or a school. 4 incredibly intriguing options that all have their different unique traits to them. For me, I think I would immediately rule out of school. Maybe for a bottled film, meaning a film that just takes place in one location. I think there could be a lot, a Breakfast Club type thing. The suburbs really does open it up as well, for giving a lot more importance on the characters. They hate living in the suburbs or something like that. So it kind of just forces them to be very imaginative and think outside the box, because the location that they live in doesn't really bring much creative diversity. An island would probably be my least favorite. Just logistically, I'm not trying to be the practical man, but it just doesn't seem like a very great place to be shooting, weather conditions, and in terms of just narratives that really stick out to me thus far, it wouldn't be a location that I would choose. And then the city. I live in California, so that's kind of what I love. I love going to LA, and I've thought about actually making a short film for a bit in the city. It's a lot of variables and loose cannons. That's tough, but I'm not trying to take too long. I'm going to choose the city just because that was the first thing that stuck out to me. However, the idea of shooting in the suburbs and the school has its merits. So the second question is next: what kind of movie would it be? Oh, okay. So short film or feature film to have comedy infused, but I don't want the general takeaway to be that of, oh, Cinephiles movie is a comedy. Action, no. Because, yes, I would like to film some action. I have done it before, and it's one of my favorite highlights about the filmmaking process, just the out-of-the-box train of thought. Romance, for sure. I would love that. But I honestly think the one that I'm going to pick is adventure, because I think the difference between action and adventure is how much of every genre is in it. Action is literally, in and of itself, an action. So I feel like that kind of limits the ability to have like romance or comedy, whereas an adventure can have all of those. So I'm going to choose adventure. Alright, and remember, if you want me to slow down, you can just pause the video. If I could hear you guys, I would be like going a little slower if you think I'm going a bit too fast. But I'm trying to, control myself. Next question is, what does the main character of the movie want? Ooh. Okay, so, to find true love, to find their purpose, money, and to have fun. Oh my god. Okay, so, for my film thus far, it is taking place in the city. It is an adventure. So now it comes down to, what is the goal of this movie? Money, throw that out the window. Have fun. I would hope they would have fun along the way, but I don't want that to be the central prerogative. To find true love, no. I think I would probably choose purpose, because I think there's always a through line in all of my projects, whether it is in the material that the audience sees or the part of me that was involved within making it. There's always been some sort of like self-actualization that has required a lot of in-depth thought in my own self, and I have found purpose in that. Again, sorry if you hear planes, I live like a few miles from an airport, but I'm gonna say to find purpose. God, it's just to think about, like, if I were making a project that was about finding purpose and how that would like help me as a person and a creative. That's one of the beauties of art, is that you really get to like find your soul and a facet about yourself that I don't think you would really be able to garner otherwise. So it would be that for sure. Next question. What's something traumatic that happens in the movie? Severe illness, severe injury, loss of a loved one, or being cheated on. I'm gonna make this short. I'm probably gonna choose the loss of a loved one. Being cheated on, I'm young, and I don't think I feel like there's certain elements of film or projects that I like to attach and associate myself with, and I think there's certain like elements that you gotta realize it's not there for you yet. You haven't experienced the full brevity and weight of that certain action in order to fully garner the emotional weight of it all. And I think being cheated on, like, that hasn't happened to me yet. Thank goodness. It shouldn't happen, period, but it probably will. But I think like loss of a loved one for sure, in terms of personal connection, that's what I would choose. Severe illness and severe injury just doesn't really seem as emotionally impactful, at least in my mind immediately. So loss of a loved one. Next question. What's the main character's main trait? Ooh, okay. Smart, patient, assertive, or funny? I don't want funny. I would hope that would be like a byproduct, but again, not like a central main trait. Patience would be a good one, along with being smart, but I think assertive. Gosh, actually that's tough. Because the idea of my main character being patient really opens the door for a lot more for the audience to be brought into, as patience requires like silence and time to really digest a lot of what is going on in the story. But I think you kind of run the risk of making the movie a bit too dull and relying so heavily on the audience to question that and instead of taking it for face value. And there's also something about being rash in the beginning, of course, not like through the entire film, but being impatient and figure out why. Like, I love a damaged protagonist. That's probably why I've seen the Batman like four times now, more times. I don't know. There's just something about it that inherently just grabs me. So I think I'm gonna choose assertive, because I love me a little dumb character sometimes. Now I just think I find myself a lot more fascinated with the issues that a narrative and a protagonist has, or an antagonist, just a character in general, and the why to it all, because I think the vulnerability is what makes us human. A human is a human, which is fundamentally flawed. So I think assertive would probably be just, I don't even love assertive too much. Just out of all four of those, I would choose assertive. Next question, where does the main character live? A mansion, a comfy apartment, studio, or a decent house? Not a decent house. Not a mansion either. I'm like a rags to riches story. Just, you kind of see a mansion and it's like, where's the relatability in that? I don't think most of us, I'm not trying to speak on behalf of all of you guys. I know I certainly don't, but I love where I live. But most people don't live in a mansion, so that already kind of cuts off that relatability. A comfy apartment I like, but a studio apartment I also really do like. I think maybe I might be like putting a bit too of my own like personal influence into that, but I think a studio apartment probably. But if it's taking place in the city, it's an adventure, characters assertive. Yeah, I'm gonna say studio. Comfy apartment probably, like for logistic reasons, like continuity, like person lives in LA, not very rich. But for now, if I have the budget and I find a reason why, studio apartment, also because I think it really opens the door for that, like studio apartments are for creatives. And I would like to think my main character would be like creative. Alright, so the next question is, what's the main character looking for in their love interest? Passion, commitment, charm, or spontaneity? I freaking love that word, spontaneity. Like, you know, like words, like I feel like there's like a flow to it, like a lazy river, and just like ebbs and flows. Spontaneity. That's a sick word. Okay. I would like the charm to be shown, but not a central one. Commitment, no. Is that bad? I feel like that might be bad, but I don't know. No, not commitment. Just because I like the questioning, like, is this permanent? Is this a fling? I mean, maybe it's because I'm young, and to me nothing is permanent in a relationship. There's a lot of like world-ending thoughts or overlooking things, but not for a full-time thing. Spontaneity I love, that would probably be one, but I think I'm gonna say passion, because there's nothing a bit more attractive to me than passion. Like, if your passion is watching paint dry, but that is your passion, I would love to hear about it. I mean, I don't like watching paint dry, but if that is your passion, I could relish in you talking about that for hours. So I think like that if I could show that on the screen, it would illuminate the audience, and that's what I would love. Next question. Excuse me. What's the best friend's main trait? We have glamorous, wild, thoughtful, and energetic. Okay, so if I am assertive, it is an adventure movie. The love interest is passionate. Living in a studio apartment. How do I want? Energetic. Ooh, these are actually all glamorous. I don't like. Glamorous is just not for what I'm liking. Wild is an interesting point, but you want to remember that it isn't your side character's film. At least to me, it is the main character's film, hence why there's the division made. But you want to have the side character make its mark, while also not just being like the side character comic relief trope. I want there to be some actual weight into this story. questions, I like to think that my answers are associated to what my real life is like. So I think I'm gonna pick thoughtful. Although energetic and wild offers some benefits, I think overall, like truthfully, I would say thoughtful. Ooh, what's the love interest's main trait? Sensitive, mature, ambitious, or mysterious? Oh god, this might actually be the hardest question yet. Because all of those sound great. Okay, so I don't want sensitive because whether it be a male or a female, I don't know yet. But I think like I hate that trope where it's like, oh, the side character or the love interest is sensitive and the main protagonist has to be machismo. Now, I want there to be like issues, and how they find love and a connection is through their lack and their inadequacies. So sensitive, I like, but I don't want that to be the main trait. I gotta keep remembering that, a main trait. Mature, man, I don't know. I don't think so, because I love maturity. I do, even though I'm not mature all the time. I just think with maturity as a main trait, you're kind of extinguishing an ability of emotion. Because I think like a lot of like, if you're looking at like the atypical definition of maturity as a main trait especially, it's like being level-headed at the expense of emotional depth. So I think I'm gonna go with ambitious. I just like that idea most, and I think mysterious, that's also like another trope, like, ooh, mystery girl, or mystery boy, like why is that? The mysterious love interest. I don't know, it just doesn't really tickle my fancy very much, so I think I'm going to go with ambitious. I love it just like that idea. Next question. Who or what is the antagonist? Oh god, okay. The main character's mind, a jealous ex, parents or family members, or nature. Whoa. Okay, I already have my answer. The main character's mind for sure. I don't know, maybe it's like I'm a snob and I'm probably gonna just be like a representation of me as the main character, which I think like to an extent happens with every film, especially one that someone is writing and directing, and it goes beyond just that. It's like you're finding a connection, you're finding a reason why you want to make this film. Let's say you had 10 scripts, maybe some of them you wrote, some of them you didn't, but the one you have to find is the one that you connect with the most, and I guess for me it's the main character's mind. Jealous ex seems so like level, like just surface level. Parents, family members, no thanks. Nature's interesting, that would probably be my second, but the main character's mind. How are you guys doing so far? We got quite a few questions left. I would say maybe like 10. We're doing pretty good though. Hopefully you guys are locked in, feeling confident about your answers. I'm so curious to see what I get, but more importantly what you guys get. But the next question. Now, for some personal questions. Oh, okay. I gotta go. How popular are you? Not very popular. I belong to a large friend group. Well known, but I only have a few close friends. And not popular, but I still have a few friends. Okay. So for me, I like to think like at work. I can't really say school. I could say school past tense because I go to online college. But let's say work. I think I like to feel associated with at least everyone because I care about them. You know, I've always told people, if you're quiet, I want to get to know you. Like, I kind of assume it as slightly like a little bit of a lighthearted challenge. I want to get to know you. Like, why are you quiet? What's going on? I care. I'm a very emotional. Like, if you asked me, hey, what would you use more, logic or emotion? I would say emotion, for better or for worse. And I want to make my mark on this world with the little life that I have in this lifetime. And with that, I think I'm known by many. But the people that I let in with the really heavy stuff, guess like I give people a false sense of understanding me, but I really do like to think I cherry pick, and I'm selective about my friend group based off of their personality, how well we connect, their ideologies, their views, beliefs. I like to think that I have relatively decent standards, so I think I'm going to choose well-known, but only have a few close friends. And next question is, which best describes you? Loyal, charismatic, competitive, or affectionate? I think automatically, and it's sad because I feel like by choosing one, I hope you guys don't think like, oh, I'm not neither of the other three options, but you have to only pick one. So, again, let me know what you guys put down below. You can list out all of your responses and then your result as a byproduct. I'm not very competitive. There's like a part of me that like really spends too much time thinking about like, man, like I'm envious. Don't get me wrong. Like I think one of my negatives is I can get jealous and envious pretty quickly with certain things. Not all the time. Actually, it's not very often, to be quite frank. But I don't think I'm competitive. I don't. I find it kind of pointless at times. Like a fun competition, like a board game or a video game, yes. And I will get slightly butthurt. I won't lie. Charismatic. I do think I'm pretty charismatic. I won't lie. I'm an extrovert. As you can probably tell off the countless hours I've spent making videos talking about movies, life, role-playing. I like to think of myself as like an extroverted, charismatic individual. Not all the time, though. And I do think I'm loyal. But I really think, like, if it came down to it, either affectionate or charismatic, but there is times where I find myself to be a bit emotionally detached to a fault for a bit more personal reasons. But I think I'm going to say charismatic. We're really getting into this. Okay, next question is, how basic, trendy are you? Fantastic question. I'm unique, not basic, and not toxic about it. Ooh, okay. Hates trends, will never jump on bandwagons. Basic, but still somewhat unique. Or very basic, trend follower. So I have this running thing with my friends. When there is a massive trend, especially within pop culture, something massive blows up. Take last year Tiger King, take this year with Squid Game. I automatically lose so much desire to watch those things. Why? I think like the surface level answer is, I just think the real answer is, if it's a mass appeal, I kind of feel a bit turned off by it. I feel like if I would really have to dig deep as to why, but just for that level alone, probably just, I don't really find myself like associating with it as much or intrigued as much, so I'll let it die down. Like I still haven't seen either of those. But that doesn't mean like I'm not privy to wanting to do trends. So I think I don't hate trends. I think some of them are great, and I think they're trendy for a reason because it's mass appeal and there is some validity to it. I like to think of myself as unique. I think like individuality, there is like a slight fear I have where it's like, am I my own person or am I driven by trends? It's a rabbit hole that I get into far more than I would like to admit. But I like to think that I am somewhat unique. I have a very loud personality, not just in vocal range, but in just perspective. And I think I have a lot to say, and that's why I started this channel. So, sorry, just had to like shift my back. So I think I'm gonna say the first option, unique, and not toxic about it. Alright, next question is, choose somewhere to live in the US. New York City, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, or Honolulu. I already know my answer, it's Las Vegas, or Los Angeles. No thank you, Las Vegas trips me out. I feel like it's like a fever dream in a place. If someone tells me that they live in Las Vegas, dude, you're living in like the quantum realm. There ain't no way. It's crazy. And then just New York is way too much for me. I took a trip there right before the pandemic in 2020, and it was just everything all at once. It's like a dog-eat-dog mentality. There is a rhythm to it, which I definitely know that there's people that eat up. But I think Los Angeles is like a step back from that, and a little bit less dense and a bit more airy, and I love it. And people uproot their entire lives for a hopeful career in filmmaking in Los Angeles, and I'm lucky to live only like an hour away. So, and Hawaii is just too. I need people. I need. It's like a dependency thing. So I just need to be around people. So, Los Angeles. Next question. We're almost done, I believe. A few more questions. So, choose a job. Nurse. Anything in the business industry. Anything in the tech industry. Or a musician. Nurse, no thank you. The fear of having an entire life on my hands, petrifying. I mean, when I have to make mac and cheese, that responsibility of not burning myself because of boiling water is enough. Business, no thank you. Not for me, not for me. Everything that I don't like, it's not just wrong. It's not like it's wrong. It's just not for me. Just like that cubicle 9 to 5. I know in an ever-increasing climate in terms of like job opportunities, there is more to it than just that, but it doesn't grab me. The musician, maybe. The roadie life, going around the world, kind of seems dope, but at the same time, there's drawbacks to that. So I think tech is a massive umbrella of options. So I think I'm gonna choose that because, like, who knows? Camera DPing, that's technology. So anything in the tech industry, and it pays sublime. All depending. If you had a YouTube channel, what would your content be? Is ASMR an option? Travel, gaming, educational, DIY life hacks. Okay. Is technically like, okay, I might choose educational on a technicality. Would you consider me talking about movies educating you guys? I don't know. So I feel I might just choose educational. Gaming, not really, because I'm dog water at games. I just do it for like brain turning off, except for like story based. DIY life hacks, not for me, and travel would be my second. But I think I'm gonna choose educational on that one technicality. Next question is to pick a pet. Tortoise, dog, cat, or bird? I'm a cat guy. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I just love how independent, docile, and just how present but not present cats are. I've always found cats to be just one of the most fascinating felines out there. And to me, that's like what I like. I love dogs, tortoises, and birds. Not birds, no thanks. Tortoise, not really. No intrigue there. But yeah, so I love cats, but I adore dogs. But ultimately, I think I would choose a cat just because I see so much of myself in a cat. Next question is, has your heart ever been broken? Yes, and it hurt bad. I don't think there's much to be talked about there. The options were, though, I think so. Not yet. Yes, but I got over it quickly. Or yes, and it hurt bad. It hurt bad. It happened, though. Next question is, how do you handle something going wrong in your life? Sorry, spaced out there. I don't know. First option, I don't know. But I'm a mess, that's for sure. So, like, you don't know how to fix it or go about changing it. You just identify it. Next would be I talk to people about it. Next would be I brush it off and keep going. And finally, I isolate myself and work it out alone. I think ultimately I say I'm an extrovert and I depend on people a lot. But when it comes to issues, I harbor them. And I know I shouldn't. And it isn't like life ending for sure. But I've always really tangibly found myself to be more of a person to figure things out on my own without like the implication of being a burden on someone, or realistically, like I know there's some people that if they got cut off on the road, they're immediately calling up their family or their friends. oyster on their end, but just on mine. Like, it happened, that's life. We live and learn. So I think I would isolate myself and work it out alone. I know that's a bit of an extremity, but between those four options, yeah, there's a lot of times where I just like compartmentalize it. I know I shouldn't, but that's a whole topic for another day. And I believe this is the final question, guys. The final question. We've made it. If you had to learn to play an instrument, what would it be? Very interesting question to have as the last one. Piano, drums, electric guitar, or ukulele? I'm the drums guy. I just love the mobility that you have and the sounds, the differing sounds. It's always been my dream instrument to learn. It's just the biggest one, but it's drum. I mean, piano for sure, electric guitar, the sounds that you can produce from there are incredible. Ukulele, not really, just too small and clanky, just not for me. So drums. Let's go. I got main character. Oh my goodness. Congrats, you're the main character. The movie is all about you and your journey. Remember to give some of the other characters the spotlight every now and then. Holy crap, guys. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. What did you guys get, though? I had no idea what to expect. So, hearing that I'm the main character, I like to think I am. I like to hope I am. Like I'm the maestro of my own orchestra. That is life. But I would love to hear what you guys got. Are you the love interest of your life? The friend? And of course, it's just a BuzzFeed quiz. It isn't an actual statement as to what you are or not. But as always, just let me know in the comments down